Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening and or good night. Welcome back to Abstract Medicine. I do hope you're all doing well. I'm just getting ready for this reading and it's a slow morning this morning. It's Friday. Trying to rearrange these plants. I hope you're doing well. Make sure you get yourself a cup of coffee, tea, drink of choice, maybe a snack, whatever it is that you wish to do in order to make yourself feel comfortable, relaxed, and in the energy of reception. Thank you so much for your comments as well. Thank you so much for your subscription. It really does help the channel, it helps me, helps everyone. And also thank you so much for your private bookings as well. It's been a joy reading for all of you. Today I'm filming from England and I've got quite a few readings that I want to get through today for the collective. And yes, one of them is going to be the Commander Ashtar reading that's been coming in really strongly the last 2 days. He wants to speak, so I feel like that's going to be the main focus for today. I'm also going to be filming some love readings as well. One of them includes Who Will You Marry? And yeah, some others as well. These are going to be pre-recorded videos because I'm going to be away next week, so I want to make sure that you have your weekly videos, okay? Even still, you're more than welcome to book private sessions with me anyway. No worries, wherever I am in the world, I'm at your service. Thank you so much. So, with that being said, and also if you'd like to tip me, you can go ahead and do that by buy me a coffee if you like. And thank you so much for doing that. It's really very, very sweet. And 2025 predictions for your private situation is still available as well. So Commander Ashtar, I said, okay, let's just get a normal tarot deck, just basic tarot, come on. And he's like, no, it's got to be this one. So this is the reading with Commander Ashtar using this particular tarot deck. We also have the Major Arcana as well. So I'm excited to do this reading. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. He has a lot to say. I just feel it already. So let's welcome him in. Commander Ashtar, welcome. Thank you so much. Yes, there's lots of energies, there's lots of information. This is all connected to also my dreams. So I've been having very prophetic, apocalyptic dreams every single day of this week, Monday through Friday. The first dream started off with a total solar eclipse that I had in my dream, and 2 planets were in alignment. It was the moon and Venus. I'm pretty sure it was the moon and Venus. If it wasn't Venus, it was probably Mars that then shifted into Venus. The message that came through. The other energy that I am picking up on is because there's been lots of non-disclosures that have now been opened up to the public about aliens, and now we're finally understanding that they do exist. It would be completely stupid of us as human beings to be so arrogant to think that aliens, other sentient beings, are not around. You know, and they are. I just also want to say, if you're seeing that the tarot table is looking slightly different, it is because I have a new little drawer here, and I've put it over here to the side, so you may be wondering what that is. So yeah, I've got my nice little drawer there, and I've got some tarot and oracle cards here as well. And so there's going to be a lot of us who are going to be experiencing dreams. The channeling has already begun, so thank you, angels, ancestors, guide, Jesus Christ, Mother Mary. In Yeshua's name, Amin, Ashua, Ashe, Amen. And there's going to be a lot of strange activity, I feel. For those of you who have experienced abductions before, you're going to realise and remember and know that no, you were not going crazy. Yes, they were real. Yes, it was true. Depending on whether they were sentient, good sentient beings, whether they were sentient, bad sentient beings, that would be up to your situation, whatever was going on in that situation. But what I'm seeing is that and I know I'm speaking really quickly, is because Commander Ashtar has a lot to say, is that you're going to be getting flashbacks from your childhood, from what you experienced before, that was out of this world, you know? Commander Ashtar is saying, I'm by your side. Now, I want to say that I've been mentioning that I've been channeling Commander Ashtar for a long time. I would say about 3 years. And he is part of the Galactic Federation. So I want to say that you know, it's really tricky because I'm a human being and I also have an ego as well. Everyone has an ego, right? So I'm known as an artist. That's my main job, that's my main gig, that's what I'm here for, that's what I have trained for. And I know that there's going to be people from my fine art world, people who are going to be curious about what I do with these tarot readings and may think I'm bonkers, who cares? So I'm trying to also navigate that too. And I've been trying to navigate it, to be honest, the last 3 years, you know? And, you know, that transition between the art world and the spiritual world, but also combining them both, and not for it to be just, you know, a trend. I'm not about that. But I will say that it's very interesting that President Trump has mentioned the Galactic Federation. I do feel like his purpose is about this disclosure and these other further disclosures. Allegedly the CIA, the involvement with certain assassinations, etc., etc. There's also this is big. This is big. We're going through, and I have done this before, another reading called End Times. Please go ahead and look at that reading, that video. I'll try, if I remember, try to add this, add the link here on the particular reading here that you're listening to or watching. Okay, so it's end times, new beginnings, end times, you know, prophetic times, and we are living through prophetic times. Now, the reason why we are all here incarnated at this time is because we're meant to be here incarnated at this time. We are witnessing the show of our lives, he is saying. There is something to do with the DNA and the chromosomes. I just saw the X of the chromosome, which is the female, X and Y chromosome. X is the female, right? There's something to do with the X chromosome here. I am actually delighted that it's finally been disclosed that President Trump has actually mentioned the Galactic Federation. There's a reason why these things are happening now, is because there's this, what's happening is we are in a current melting pot, sure, but it's bubbling up. We are all in the soup of life, he is saying, and this soup of life is in our lives, conscious and non-conscious beings who look like humans, okay? And he's including robotic beings, he's including people that are human physically, but do not have a conscience. He's talking about people like you and I who are conscious people, who are also semi-sentient people too. He's talking with the robotic people, he's talking about the AI, okay? And he's saying that it's like a volcano. What's happening is like a volcano. There's so much of a push for nuclear war, and at the same time there's so much of a push for an awareness and a greater awareness of governments holding back on saying and actually declaring what our true reality is. Now, you know that there are lots of flat earthers. You know that there are people who, for those of you who don't understand that terminology, people who believe that the earth is flat. Or if it's not flat, it's a spherical shape, like a donut even, or a torus, allegedly. There are people who have been working in the secret space programs, allegedly. This video and everything I share and everything I do and everything I'm saying is for all intended for entertainment purposes only. This is just pure entertainment, pure speculation, and I have to say that, okay, for legal reasons. It's up to you whether to discern what I'm saying is true and it connects with what you feel and what you believe and what you think and what you're seeing, or not. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't. What I am saying is that everything that is happening now has been written in the scriptures before, and I'm not talking about the Christian texts. I'm talking about the Hindu texts, ancient Indian texts. I've also been picking up on Lord Vishnu a lot today, just this morning. Why? I have no idea. He's saying he's going to talk about that. Come on, Ashtar, he's saying. And we've all been fooled, he is saying. We've all been fooled to believe the reality that we've been living in is what it is when it's not. The reason why there's so much quote unquote harassment from these orbs, from these aliens that we are seeing in our world at this time, and we of course we're not necessarily in New Orleans. All of us are not in New Orleans. We live in Germany, we live in France, we live in Jamaica, we live in the States. We're not all in one specific place, but we are all witnessing it through the World Wide Web, which is the lens of reality, of a certain reality, is saying. But a lot of us can no longer be denying the facts that there is a bombardment of this information that we are being thrust upon to see, that these sentient beings do exist. These aliens are messengers. Some people have called them angels. Good or bad. Remember, there's fallen angels and there are high angels, arcane angels. And so they are shoving it in our faces, these sentient beings, that they are no longer going to be complying. And I'm also feeling sadness a little bit on their end, because they've complied in a way, but they've also been hurt. They've been tested, they've been prodded. They've been examined. They've been harmed. For our greed, he is saying, for our, as in humans, our greed, to know more, to want more, to have more, to be more. The human race is deeply flawed, he is saying. It's deeply flawed and hell-bent on power, so much so that they will be hell-raising, he is saying. He's showing me this image of a big hand that is taking the, a ground of earth, pulling up the earth, the turf of the earth, and turning it upside down. There are reasons why in ancient texts, like the Vedas, like the Bhagavad Gita, that have warned humanity. Remember that the Bible is full of codes. Don't take everything that it says literally. Decodify it. There are reasons why we used to remember old scriptures and poems and writings and plays through constant conversations, through repetition, through song. And they became myths. They're not necessarily myths. They are stories that we get to remember and never forget, so that it will never be perpetuated again. And this is every single war that we've experienced as human beings on this planet Earth, on this plane, this perpetual plane that we are living in, that somehow we are not able to escape, as we are in a perpetual loop, an infinity loop. Now, in the last 24 hours, I've actually also been doubting myself, really, truly. If this planet really is spherical, is it round? Is it circular? Or is it spherical? We don't necessarily know that truly, unless we've been able to physically extrapolate ourselves and to see the Earth from afar. Now, there is a firmament surrounding planet Earth. Is a protective layer. Can we really exit this planet? Can we really exit this plane? Can we? Truly, think about it. Avoid yourself from judging yourself. We get to start thinking laterally. We get to start thinking, well, why not? Or what if? We get to start to not point at the scapegoat. We get to start looking at, actually, maybe what's going on in the States right now is a cleanse of a lot of sex child, TRAFFICKING. And maybe there's a conversation that we get to have about those borders. And maybe there's an agenda here that is stopping these things from happening, as in freedom of people that they get to have, so that there's a release of that old paradigm control. I don't know. I do not know the answers. I'm just saying that we get to also have critical thinking, and we get to see things in a different light. Not just because it's being pushed in our faces does it mean that it has to be true. Just because your friends believe in something doesn't mean you have to believe in it too. Remember, you are leaders yourselves too. Remember, I spoke about this in the last reading. Leaders do not follow, they lead. And yes, they do lead by example, but you know what? In order to lead, you have to kind of stick your neck out a bit. You have to stick out your neck and see something that's outside of this reality. Remember, there's that famous illustration or painting of that man who's in the sphere of the world. This is a very esoteric Gnostic image. And he's looking, trying to look out of the sphere of this earth, which is the firmament. And he sees a whole new reality. He sees these stars and everything else, and he's trying to get out. This is you, collective. You're starting to see things in a different reality, in a different way. So I want to ask Commander Ashtar all of these things, if possible, today in the reading. Okay, about planet Earth and so much more. The Empress is planet Earth, this plane, the mother. And this is related and connected to the chromosome, the X chromosome. Now there's a spider web just outside, and on it there is a hanging of a piece of brick. Okay, just a slight bit of brick, and it's hanging, and it's in the shape of a head, and it's moving around because it's slightly windy. And the first thing I saw was Isis. You know the image of Isis, the head, and some people wear it as a pendant, as a necklace. I saw that earlier, and so I'm mentioning it here now because we have the Empress here, which is mother. And this is, yes, of course, connected to the Egyptians. This is, of course, connected to that timeline. You know, it's like we as humans just don't understand the lesson. We keep repeating stupid lessons over and over again. We go, oh yeah, sure. I mean, look at 2020. It shook our world. I mean, look at the fires in LA. Everyone's forgotten about it. Our minds are so fickle. We just jump onto the next trend. We easily get distracted. We do not have a backbone. You know, but on the other end of it, humanity is so beautiful. Unusually so, he is saying. Because we are so malleable, he's saying, we're so malleable. We can become anything that we wish to be. And some of us do become our truest selves in one incarnation. And some of us don't. Some of us love to be led, love to be told what to do. We have the Sun card. Masculine energy here and the feminine energy here. But can you see how both images show women? Yeah? There's something to do here with the LGBTQ plus community. Sure, there could be something to do with trans women as well. You know, that has been, the T in the LGBTQ plus has been removed, but I can understand, and I can also not understand. There is, I will say, now you've got to please just be aware of what I'm saying and be open-minded, okay? There has been, and from women too. Remember the last reading I shared about a particular woman who was asking all these questions because she doesn't have any girlfriends. You know, why would you make another woman feel insecure and uncomfortable because of your own insecurity? You know, so there have been women as well themselves who want to destroy feminism completely by playing into the feminine archetype, so much so that they are performative, right? There are also trans women who call themselves women completely, which I have a major issue with. I see it as a red flag. Trans women will never be women. They're trans women. And the trans women who say that they are trans women, props to you. Props to you. Because you understand. You're not women. You're trans women. I say that with love. I say that with respect. There has been a gradual, I'm not sure if you've been aware of it, collective, there's been a gradual attempt at eliminating the gender women completely. Now remember what Shakespeare said. If he was a true person as well himself, maybe he was a collection of poets, bards, writers. It has been said, and I'm living in Shakespeare County. Genuinely, I'm, you know, just around the corner from Stratford-upon-Avon. That's where he was born. I'm in the place where he was born. Supposedly, if it was him. Okay? But, you know, he says, every man plays his part. And I'll include in this play called Life. And, you know, we are merely players. We are merely players. And there's going to be people, there's going to be officials, there's going to be leaders who will play the part that they need to play in this game called life. Okay? So in a way you can't judge them lest ye be judged. Jesus is coming in with that. But also, I've been hearing this week as well, and the last 2 weeks, with what I've been going through too, is it's on the tip of my tongue. It's like, don't judge the game, judge the players or something. But I think it's a temptation of it's a temptation of, if you can't beat them, join them. The temptation is to join those who you can't compete with. But this is not about competition. This is actually about still being part of the collective. Remember, that's Aquarius energy. Remember, we are in the age of Aquarius now. Aquarius is about humanity. You don't have to have the sign in your chart. We are in the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius is about humanity, humankind. Kind being the operative word. So you can still be part of the collective, part of humanity, without needing to feel like you have to surrender into, well, I've been trying to have a homestead, I've been trying to live off grid, I've been trying to eat well, I've been trying to eat organic, I've been trying to not eat meat for some of you, I've been trying to stay high vibrational, I've been trying, but it's just so much, it's unbearable that I can't seem to get away from it. So surrender. If you can't beat them, join them. No. He's saying to not do that. The Queen of Pentacles here. Can you see how there's a DNA reconstruction here? And I remember how I mentioned the X chromosome. X marks the spot, he is saying. Now, when there is an X marking the spot on a map, is because there is a treasure there. And we are redefining. We're redefining womanhood. We're redefining what creativity is, who a creator is, and the creator is feminine on this plane. Okay, from her, life was birthed. I'm just putting my head in because I want to see the image a bit more. From her, life is birthed. There's an armadillo here as well, which is showing me that there has been an armor. She's been hiding. Do you know that there's also, I've mentioned this before, but do you know that there's also a gradual extermination of women's reproduction system completely as well? It's in the food that we eat, it's the tampons, sanitary towels. Sanitary towels have chemicals in them that shouldn't be in there. And our question should be critical thinking. Why are they in there? No? Rise of the leader. The sun is the leader. And it is she. There's just so many messages that are coming in. It's kind of difficult. I wish I could plug you all into my head and then you can see what I'm seeing. Let's just turn these all out. The Prince of Pentacles. I don't want to read reversals. The Ace of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles. Oh yeah, okay. I think we've mentioned this before, haven't we, Commander Ashtar, about Eden and coming out of Eden. We have the Five of Pentacles coming out of Eden. Five of Pentacles is a couple who are destitute, forlorn, sick. Look, we have the serpent there. Can you see? Right there. And look, the apple is there as well. Do not be fooled. Do not be tempted. To fall into Eden again. Okay, I've got homework for all of you. For those of you who have not read it, this is the right time to read it. 2 books. 2 very important books. Me included also to reread. The first one is the Book of Enoch. Okay, the Book of Enoch. E-N-O-C-H. The Book of Enoch, read it. It talks about the Nephilim. If you know, you know. The second book is the New Testament, and it's the Revelations. It's Revelations. End times. We do have a horse here, which is the Prince of Pentacles. So that would be the Knight of Pentacles, but actually it would be the Page, more so the Page. Slow rider, not even moving. Slow progress, no progress. We haven't actually, it looks as if we've evolved a lot as human beings, but we haven't, he is saying. The Princess of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, the Wheel, we are all living multiple existences in one existence. Multiple timelines in one timeline. What is holding you back is holding you. Can you see how we have a number 9 here? This is the year number 9. This year, 2025. I just keep hearing, when I see this card, I'm hearing the Bat King. I don't know why that is. But I do also see that there are people who give up so quickly and easily and just surrender into the devil, the demonic energy, so that they can be financially independent. And there's lots of women who have done that, who are well known. Leader here, the Sun. Tell us what this is all about, Commander Ashtar. He says, look at the pictures. He's also talking about Judaism, or even... There's just so... it's just a lot of information I don't know how to relay. He says, one step at a time. Okay. The Wheel of Fortune is a major arcana. We're going through a major shift. Okay, the wheel is time, it's destiny, it's fated, it's the Illuminati, false light, and everything of that is coming up to true light. You know, everything that has been hidden, everything that's been held back is being opened up, and we're going through a great awakening because it is destined as part of our Akashic record in humanity. And there's actually one elder on the internet who I came across yesterday, amazing elder, and he's got dreadlocks. I would say that he is, I would say, just generally Caribbean. He doesn't have a Jamaican accent, but he's an elder, and he was talking about how the sun is a server, and it serves humanity, and that's why the elites have said that they're, you know, when we download information on the computer, whatever, on the internet, then we can save it to the cloud. Well, this elder was talking about the sun is a server, and whatever information that we need, we can ask the sun for that information. Because there's information that's stored in the sun, and it can serve us on planet Earth, the Empress. Okay, and then that information is then stored into the clouds, which is the Akashic records. He's saying is actually in the firmament. It's just around this planet, or this plane of existence that we live in. So we can tap into, for those of you who don't know what the Akashic record is, our lives or life is recorded in a library of knowledge, And it is said now through this elder who really opened my mind that it is there. It is actually just right here in front of our faces, and it's just in the firmament. It's here above and around us, protecting this plane, and we can access it any time. And there are certain people who are in positions of power, governments, etc. Well, that's all I'll say for now, because I have to, you know, I've got to also comply to the rules here on YouTube. But I will say, I've already said quite a lot, he's saying, but yeah, you understand. But I am protected, and this is protected information. That there has been now, there has been for many years, millennia, he's saying, the powers that have been to trick us as human beings to not have access to our own records. So, you know, for example, when you go to, you want to know about your genealogy, going back to the DNA, and you provide a sample of your hair or your saliva, and then it gets sent to a lab, and then it gets looked at, you know, etc, etc. Now I have my concerns over that, but whatever. Anyway, yes, you can you'll then be able to find out where your DNA is from, right? So it's from 14% from Papua New Guinea, 20% from East Africa, whatever, you know, specifying on certain locations, you know, with a percentage. But there are the powers that have been, who've been wanting to stop us from accessing our lineage. And this elder was talking about he's never alone. Humans should never feel like they're alone, because they carry 1 million people. Each person carries 1 million ancestors, because in order to make you've had to have had 1 million people to bring you here to this present moment, to be together, to fall in love, to copulate, for you to be here, right? And there are certain people that don't know who they are, because they don't know who their parents are. And that can be quite speculative and quite strange in itself, particularly if that child was born somewhere where they shouldn't maybe have been born. Like they just remember being 7 years old and they're suddenly in the States of America, and you know, they're adopted, and 200 years later there are children of the offspring of that particular person. The question is, what brought them to the States at that young age? Who genuinely were their parents? Were they made in a lab? Like, you know, these things have been going on for a long time. It's not just now. It's been going on for a long time, more than we know, and it's been right in front of our eyes and just in front of our noses, he's saying, for maybe far too long. And what he is sharing is, and I'm going to put these away now, but what he is saying is, and what he's sharing is, there's been dark magic that's been performed in front of our faces for a long time. And we have to be open-minded. We have to wonder why certain people are being scapegoated. We have to wonder why there are certain people that are being finger-pointed because of their esoteric philosophies and ideas. Remember, the power of humanity is in women. It's in women. And it's because of that women have been a target. Women have been subjugated in all religions. All religions. Even in Buddhism. Look at Kuan Yin. She was the first male Buddha, Bodhisattva. She had the opportunity from Spirit, from God, to be an embodiment of compassion. Do you know what that takes? To live a life learning what compassion is through lesson after lesson after lesson after lesson after lesson after lesson after lesson. That is hard work. That's surrender. That's a strong belief. And she stuck out her neck in her own community, in her own country, in her own society, to be different. You know, learn about her. If you are women, learn about her. Now, I'm not saying that trans women shouldn't have their rights. Everyone should have their rights. What I'm saying is that trans women are trans women. And they've always been around. Trans women have always been around. Trans men? I don't think so much. I'm not sure, but of course we know that many writers, creatives, artists have dressed like men. You know, warriors, Joan of Arc, Mulan, you know, changed our names, changed, you know, any kind of, I mean, I do it myself, you know, sometimes when I go and pick up something from Free Cycle, for example, I'll just put the name Chris, C-R-I-S, and then I turn up. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of like a fun game. You know, people think I'm a man, you know, and it's like, yeah. But yes. I'll be back. Okay, everyone, I just needed to have a slight break because there's just a lot. There's just a lot of information. And just please do not be offended if I say something that, you know, is said with love and it's made with love. You know, it's just take it as it resonates. I do want to ask Commander Ashtar about more about this planet, more about what's going on. I'll put these away. I find them distracting. Commander Ashtar, what is it that you want us to know about? He also did mention, just during this short break, he said, don't be afraid. Because for those of you who are tapped in to the divine, you will always be protected as you've always been protected, now and in the past, now and in past lives. The Two of Swords and the Page of Cups. Now these two cards, particularly this one here, has been coming up a lot about discernment and making the right decision. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing. That maybe this is coming up again about choosing the reality. Remember how we mentioned the camera oscura? You use your own free will. You use your own discernment and seeing, okay, is this real? Is this fake? Is this true to light or is this a false light? Is this true knowledge or is this a red flag? And so when we are perpetually being distracted, we don't allow ourselves, and we are not allowed to see things as they are, because actually, if you're being told a narrative over and over again, then you believe that that's true and that's the narrative. But when you have space to time and think and meditate and come up with your own conclusions, your own understanding about things in quiet, that's when you're truly free, he is saying. Five of Wands, conflict, and the Empress. It's all coming up in twos. Now remember, Noah's Ark is also important too. Noah's Ark, in my belief and my understanding and my research, wasn't actually a true ark. I mean, there may have been, but I think it could have been in twos as well, where there was an ark. But then there's also it's a DNA coding. Remember how we have knowledge through our ancestors and our ancestry. It is all codified in our DNA. It is the greatest computer. We've got to ask why, especially like even with the Starman Tarot deck and about his song, David Bowie's song, is there life on Mars? I mean, the answer is yes. Yes, David Bowie, there is. He knows that now. But why is there such a push for that? You know, why does Elon Musk want us to live there? Just why? Just ask the simple question, why? You know? The Empress is coming up again. 5 of Wands. There's 2 messages here. There's lots of twos and twos. 2 in the couple, Adam and Eve. 2, one reality over another. A fight for one truth over another truth. There's also the energy of people who are fighting for this planet and fighting to get into this planet, and there's been a constant fight over the existence of Earth. Now remember, for those of you who may start opening up your minds into thinking, actually maybe this is not a planet, maybe this is a plane of existence, a dimension. In any case, it has been fought over for many, let's just call it lifetimes. Because I genuinely don't know how old Earth is. I don't know, and it's not for me to know. It's not for me to care, he is saying. All I get to care about is to deliver this message, he is saying. Message which is that it is being fought over. And there have been lots of fights and wars on Earth. There have also been lots of fights and wars for Earth. 5 of Wands and the Empress. Interesting. Now remember how we mentioned women. Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin is a divine feminine. The Empress is a divine feminine. Fighting for the divine in women. Fighting for women or woman. Womb man. Womb man to be recognized. I mean, I could have said as equal, but actually, no. Women are divine, truly. Possibly the most divine out of the 2 is woman. And I mean that over man. Read the book of Enoch. The Nephilim are the fallen angels, and they copulated with women. And then giants, giant human beings, you know, were then produced. Half woman, which is a divine connection to God. How do you hurt God? You hurt God by hurting his children, or, you know, God's children. So they copulated with her, destroyed her image. There's going to be more, so wait. Commander Ashtar is definitely here. We have the Wheel of Fortune again. The Empress came up before in the Frida Designs cards, and the Wheel of Fortune. Hang on, let me just pick something up. The Knight of Coins. You can't make it up. This came up before as the Prince of Coins, you know, with the horse. So I'm going to get my cheat sheet because there's some information there. Let's just break it down. What's the Empress? The Empress is the feminine power. She's the feminine power. Creativity, fertility, expression, and pleasure. What's the Wheel of Fortune? the Wheel of Fortune is sorry, one moment. The Wheel of Fortune is, if I can find it, it's also the energy of fortune. It's the energy of Jupiter. Who is Jupiter? Jupiter is a god of planet Jupiter. He is the lord over Sagittarius and is the lord over Pisces. Okay, so what is Sagittarius? Sagittarius is a philosopher, a spiritual person, a traveller, half human, half horse. We have the horse here, which would be the Knight of Coins. Knights always travel on horses. So there have been hybrids on this planet Earth, is what he's indicating. And there was an expansion of that, because Jupiter is about expansion. Those beings felt very lucky by the fact that they were able to expand their agenda, their message. Knight of Coins is a messenger. Messengers are angels. What are angels? Fallen or high angels. Now you connect the dots. They were able to perpetuate, copulate with the fertility in the woman, the womb, to deliver their agenda, their message. Wow, this is very powerful reading. The Wheel of Fortune is good luck, change, destiny, life cycles and karma. They wanted to redirect the destiny of this plane of Earth, redirect the destiny of the divine woman. And what is the Knight of Coins? The Knight of Coins is expansion, hard work, steadfastness. So they were hell-bent on their agenda to expand, to keep copulating, to have control over this dominion and turn it into a kingdom. Nine of Coins came up earlier in the reading as well with the Starman Tarot deck. Nine of Coins is the independent female, the independent woman. Remember how we saw her with the armadillo? And yeah. Or the armadillo was in the Queen of Pentacles, I can't remember. But the Nine of Coins is someone who is very independent. She's independent. This is feminism as well. The Two of Coins, sorry, the Two of Cups is a couple. You know, you do get more work done within a partnership. Two minds are better than none. Two minds are better than one. Two hearts beat as one. This is true love. And so there's been a separation of that in our societies, where in one extent it is fantastic that there has been such a feminine urge by way of us women doing things on our own accord without the need to be behind the shadow of a man. Or in our lives, the man in our fathers, the man in our patriarchy, the man in our partnerships, the man in our brothers. You know, we can stand on our own. But on the flip side of that is, where's the love? Yes, love is found within, but where is Eden here? And so some of us, and a lot of us, are feeling displaced, feeling hurt, feeling lost, because a lot of us have found that financial independence, have found that true calling, but we're feeling lonely, no matter how many millions of our ancestors are right behind us, and that we are them. we are still wanting that natural cyclical thing of being in a partnership, to share our stories, to share our hearts with another, our love. To, again, we have the World and the Knight of Cups. I keep hearing that song, Where is the Love, by whatever that, you know, Black Eyed Peas. Yeah, people killing, people fighting, people hurting, people dying. Can we practice what we preach? Okay, so the world is this world. Something is ending, something is beginning, and this is an era of that, Age of Aquarius. The Knight of Cups is someone who is very chivalric, very romantic, very communicative about how they feel. Where is the fulfillment in the World card? Where is the fulfillment in this world? Have we learnt anything, or have we learnt nothing? Come on, Ashtar, tell us more. The Four of Coins is boredom. I just heard separation anxiety. Death card is a major transformation we're going through. Things are coming up to light with the Scorpionic energy. What goes bump in the night? What spooks you in the night? Maybe some of us are searching for things out of this world because we're bored on this earth. We're bored of this certain reality that we're living in. The Six of Coins. This would be the law of cause and effect. One of the universal laws is you reap what you sow. Yeah. Like for like. Justice came out in the reverse. Yeah, but we're seeing here that there is exactly the law of justice, the law of like for like, the law of retribution. I'm hearing divine retribution. Now there is a horse here. What is it with these horses? Seven of Wands. Eight of Coins. Four of Cups. I read the Four of Coins as the Four of Cups, but it's okay. The message was declared. I keep hearing separation anxiety. It's because a lot of us don't know where we're from. And I mean that even though you know your own family, you don't know where you're from. You don't know what your purpose is. When you know where you're from, you know what to do. You know what your purpose is. You know what to fight for. You know what to believe in. You know how to help you think. You know what your doctrine is. You know what your culture is. You know what the company that you keep. Everything is tribe. It's about tribe. This is a war about tribe, okay? Now I know that in the States as well, the latest administration of President Trump is now declaring that Native Americans are not Americans. They're not American citizens, which is obviously a blow and a kick to the teeth. You know what I'm seeing? I'm actually seeing lots of ghosts. I'm seeing a lot of apparitions in the States, and I'm seeing that, even though there are things that are going on that may be planned or there may be an agenda, I do feel like it's the divine retribution connected to the ghosts of the ancestors of the indigenous land of the United States of America. So I do see the ghost of the ancestors rising up more so. There's going to be, I mean, you know, they a lot of these tribes, I can't say specifically, but they have cursed land on purpose, you know, so that the offspring of the colonials would be forever spooked. There's a place, I think, is it called White Walker Ranch? Something Walker Ranch, where there's a lot of phenomena there. There's a lot of activity there. There's going to be more activity there. There's going to be more, like, now, you know, with tribes, with ancestors who are indigenous blood, they're not, I would say this is not about being fully human, you know. But I just feel that. I feel that myself. I mean, I'm part indigenous myself, and I wouldn't be doing any of this if I wasn't connected, you know, with my ancestors in that way. And they're very old, you know, they're very old civilization of people. And being someone who's part Quechuan, someone who's from Quechua, and also, you know, they have their own language, Quechua. But Quechuan are a very old group of people, as I mentioned before. I don't feel like we are fully human. I've been feeling that myself. I mean, I've always felt like that ever since I was a child. I don't really feel like I'm fully part of this world. And so some of you may be feeling that. And if you've had, I remember we're going back into nostalgia for some of you, or even just a slight reflection of what happened in our childhood and the spooky things that would happen, and now you're realizing why. It's because you had a message, or you were a channeler, and you were a natural psychic, and you had things to share, and you were very connected. And there are people who have indigenous blood, and I would say to a greater percentage. So if you have 40% plus indigenous lineage, then I'm hearing you're part of the chosen ones. So it's like that energy is being risen up again. That understanding, that focus is being risen up again in humanity, to focus more on the indigenous people around the world, because it is part of our karmic debt to have respect and reverence for the people who came before us. That is what an ancestor is. In Spanish, it's antenados. So it's people who came before us. Ante, before. Nados comes from, you know, birth. The word birth. So before birth. This is a time, he is saying, to really get to know your people, get to know who you are, get to know the language. You know, get to know your language. Get to know language. He's like stressing on language. Language being really important here. Six of Cups exactly is going back in time, reflecting. Nostalgia, happiness, but it came out in the reverse, which is unhappiness. I'm sorry if this reading's kind of all over the place. As I mentioned, there's just I can't seem to be able to, he's saying I'm doing a good job, but there's so much information that he's sharing with me. It's difficult to kind of say it all coherently in the same sort of context, because there's just so many things that are coming in different ways. But I hope you can see what I'm seeing, and I hope you can take what resonates for you. But yeah, I'm seeing that there's just a lot. There's a lot. I'm removing all these cards because he's saying to remove all the cards, so I'm doing that. Tell us about the angels. Tell us about the angels. Wow. 2 cards again, Judgment and the Tower. For those of you who have not experienced or do not believe, I feel like a lot of you do, but you'll be noticing that people that don't believe in aliens are going to be the ones that are going to be having a big hit of that reality as truth, that they will believe. It's, you know, when something is so seismically shifting, it changes your complete paradigm, changes your complete reality on life and what you know. That's what's happening to the masses at this time. Everyone's going through a massive, he's saying a grand awakening. He's calling it a grand awakening. Not a big awakening, a grand awakening. The High Priestess. Who is the High Priestess? She's the one that's hidden. She's the feminine as well. She's the divine feminine. She's the one that's hidden behind the veil of the reality. She knows things that people can't see. Spiritually, metaphysically, non-physically. The Hermit. It's time to come out of hiding, he's saying. So there's a lot of sentient beings that are going to be coming out of hiding. There's going to be a lot of telepathy and communication enhanced at this time. These are 4 major arcanas. I mean, look at this: the Judgment, the Tower, the High Priestess, and the Hermit. A lot of us are going, I just got a twinge in my left ear. A lot of us are going to be getting a lot of you know, messages in our ears, psychically, spiritually, clairvoyantly. The Fountain and the 8 of Wands. The Emperor is here as well. And the Queen of Coins, the Devil, and the 10 of Wands. Side note, for those of you who are in a relationship, you're definitely going to get married to your partner. I do see that there's going to be a proposal here. Page of Swords and the King of Cups would be that. 3 of Wands and the Ace of Wands is the 4 of Wands, which is marriage, moving in with each other, home, stability, maybe even working with each other, because it can talk about institutions, offices, jobs. And then the 9 of Swords and the 5 of Wands is a lot of you and a lot of everyone is dealing with healing with regard to insecurity and self-sabotage. Just stretching. So I do see that, but I also see that there's a fountain of youth here, so there is a need for an initiation of new children to come in. There's a new wave of children, new wave of beings. The 8 of Wands is sperm, and it's a lot of people, and it's fast travel. So expect astral connections, expect astral telepathy, astral travel, astral journeying, spiritual journeying. For those of you who are not able to travel physically at this time, expect that to happen. Expect also to travel outside of this plane, spiritually speaking, in a protective way, so that you are still connecting your life with your lifeline, you know. I'm going to leave it here because there's just so much, as you can hear and probably feel from my energy. It's just a lot of information, and I'm finding it difficult to sort of relay all this information. But I hope you've enjoyed this reading. I'm going to move on to the next reading now, and it's all going to be about your love life and who you're going to marry. Okay, just to shift the energies up a bit. But hope you've enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. I know it was all over the place, but thank you anyway. Book a reading with me privately. I'd love to look into situation, your insights, your job, your career, your money, your love life, your year ahead, 2025, and so much more. I would be honoured to do that and to be your guiding light, hopefully for your highest timeline as well. So thank you so much in advance. Wishing you well, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye for now.